So then I would say we proceed our next speaker. I'm very happy to introduce Peter Forth himself to talk about how to install FORTH on ESP32 and the projects you're doing with that, Peter. I'm excited to learn about that.
Thank you, Ulrich. Hello, friends from the group. Here, Peter from Brazil. You see the Christ from Rio de Janeiro on my back. I don't live in Rio de Janeiro, but not very far, 300 kilometers from Rio. Cecil, you did a great job. Later we talk about your card a little more. So my presentation is about eforth, which means an easy force made by Dr. Ting and presented on the Maker Faire. This force, Dr. Ting will explain later when he did this. It's a very known force in the community, and it was presented on the Maker Faire 2019 with Brad Nelson and Don Golding together. They created a robot group of the ESP32. You see here the logo of the Silicon Valley Force Group. It's one of the first or the first group in the world from where we all learned everything about force. So what Brad did on top of the eforth is a very clever application. He created a web application installed inside the Arduino IDE of eforth. So in FORTH, we use the term keys. This is not the keys from a woman or from a man. This is a keep it simple, stupid. We learned this from Charles Moore, the creator of FORTH. And it's very important for this presentation and for everything that you are going to see in FORTH. FORTH tries to make the things so simple as possible. This Arduino IDE is one of these examples because everybody knows Arduino, everybody has the IDE, and what Dr. Ting did, he created eforth on top of this wonderful, easy to use IDE. We have two versions of this chip. One is the VRoom and the other the Do It. The difference is only in the pinout of the chip here on the pins, so you must be careful when you install to watch which version you have. Why is FORTH important for a maker, or why is FORTH important for an Arduino or hobbyist or professional? The advantage of FORTH over C is that you got an interpreter and, look at this chart here, and compiler. It's not an interpreter and it's not a compiler. FORTH is an interpreter and compiler. That is the great thing in FORTH. This allows you to go ahead directly without compile, download, and debug process we all know from C. You simply write and test your code incrementally. And in this opportunity, with this interesting web interface, you can do it over Wi-Fi. So you have no cables and you can work with the ESP32 over your browser. More advantages from Forth over C. Forth is an expandable language. This is very good for automation and robots because you can create an own language about Forth. You can, for example, create a G-code interpreter, or you can create a robot language like human language. This is very, very interesting. Something you can't do in C. You can't do in C, and in Forth is much easier to produce. This is what we call a human language. Use your own words to program your CPU. Another advantage of Forth is it is really much more compact. So normally, in my experience, I have 3 to 10 times smaller code in Forth than in C or in similar languages. Well, let's install eforth. What you need an Arduino IDE installed in your computer. And of course, the chips. This is my board here connected over Wi-Fi. This cable is only for power supply. I'm not using any connection. And you see here the interface of ESP32 Forth. Where you get the files? Dr. Ting was kind and set up all his work on public domain a couple of years ago. And you can go to forth.org. This is the link. I will put everything later on the Facebook page. And you see all the work of Dr. Ting along over the years. It's easy to download all zip files, no trouble. And this is the file we are going to use, ESP32 Forth web browser. So you can click on that file and you will get here a zip. I am doing this right now. And this zip you copy to your sketch in your Arduino. So when you have an Arduino, you know everything is stored on sketches. Here is my sketchbook. I don't need to copy because I already have it here opened. And this is the file we are using, ESP32 Forth _62. This is where you need to take care. Select the Arduino IDE and your ESP32 model. There are plenty of models, and here you must take care with the pinout, what we talked before. Almost all are the same. There are very few differences, but select the do it or ESP. There is another one which are the standards. These are the standard boards. After that, if you got this and your ESP32 connected by this cable to your computer, you simply verify, compile, and upload. It's such easy. So sorry, I forgot one point here. You need to look for your IP. You need to install inside this code. There is a place here. You simply go down the code and try to find where your IP definition is, and put your router and the IP of you have chosen. In my case, it's here working. I choose this IP. So this is a fixed IP. And this has the advantage, you can connect to your Arduino, to your ESP32 over your smartphone. So this is something very, very simple. Everybody who is a maker or who knows how to deal with an Arduino can do that. But what have I prepared here? Look at my ESP32. When I want to light a LED, I simply press here the button and you see the LED. We got an analog to digital converter, so I prepared here a potentiometer. This pot, I can request here the value and I get a readout of it. You see, I modify and the number changes. Which is this number? This number is on pin 34. So I can access, can you see my screen here? I am typing. You got here a yellow text input. So you write ADC and the dot is print in forth. So I am requesting on pin 34 what is there, and it is 2,500. I change the pot and look again. Dot, and it changed the number. What else have we here? I got here a motor. I got here a servo motor. I want to show you what I do normally with forth. I do CNC applications. So I wrote a couple of words. You see here, this is my program, a little program, only to show you how to move a servo motor. It's very, very fast and easy. So I want to make 1 RPM. So I make 1 RPM here. Look the motor. I want to go in the other direction. So I do -1 RPM. I look at the motor. Now I do slow. This is slow, sorry. I do fast. And I do 1 RPM. Now look. -1 RPM. And if you take attention, I got 2 LEDs here, one green and one red. And when the motor moves, it's spinning and the LEDs change. You see, these are the steps I am sending to the servo motor. If I do -1, both LEDs are lighting. This means one is the step and the other is the direction, and both are changing according to my commands. Here you see the words I have inside this, and these are the words I created to move the motor. I created RPM, I created fast, I created slow, I created clear screen. Peter some test. MMT is a move motor. Move motor is MMT is an abbreviation. Millimeters for moving a millimeter, etc., etc. We will do other. We are short on time now, so we will do in future more about this interesting option from Dr. Ting and Brad and Don. But probably you have some questions you want to ask me, so I am finished here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I have a question. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Okay. Can you show us the steps that you do if you include a file? For example, hello world.
Hello world. Perfect. I do a colon. I write, for example, Peter.
Sorry. Not interactive, but if you have it on in a file on disk.
Oh, excellent. I do. So I go here to choose a file. This is in Portuguese because when I compiled the Arduino IDE, choose Portuguese, but you will get it in your language, probably in English. I choose a file from here, and I take here my Peter. This is my file now. So I open, and you see it's uploading into the Arduino.
Okay.
It's extremely easy. This is extremely interesting. Please, everybody, buy an ESP32 urgently and follow this incredible PDF from Dr. Ting. This is a wonderful project. For your kids, for you, for your neighbor, for everybody. Is everything explained? This group is fantastic because we got all the three guys in the group, Dr. Ting, Brad Nelson, and Don Golding, and you got me also. Now I came in the last minute, but we will help everybody to force. You need to force, guys. Go ahead, buy an Arduino and install this. This is all. Next participant.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. This was really an excellent talk. I really appreciate also the setup in showing an additional camera view of your things, and maybe you can share what you did operating with two cameras at the same time at some point in time.
Excellent.
Yeah,
good idea.
That's really great. I could really make use of this kind of setup in the lectures I give. So that's rather nice.
Thank you, Ulrich, so much.
Okay, right. So thanks again. Our next speaker